Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we are looking at two of the coolest comic books I've read in a long time, and they're 30 years old. I can't believe this is the first time I've owned these. These are so cool. Berzerker, check out these gorgeous covers by Angel Medina. There's a great history involved with this character, created by Gary Carlson, Big Bang Comics. Rob Liefeld has an attachment to the character. Erik Larsen has an attachment to the character. Beautiful art by Angel Medina. There's some early work by Larsen and Liefeld in here that you're definitely gonna want to stick around to see. So, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Okay, so if you watch my channel, or if you don't, it doesn't matter. I had the good fortune to interview the amazing comic legend, grandfather of Image Comics, Gary Carlson, and creator of Big Bang Comics, and lots of great characters. Co-creator, with Erik Larsen, Vanguard, Berzerker here, Big Bang Comics, the sort of retro throwback nostalgia comic book line. But Gary Carlson was like independently publishing. Big Bang Comic Books is like his sort of thing, but it's been published by different publishers. Like they were at Image once. Gauntlet Comics was apparently the publisher here. But we're just looking at these issues, number 1 and 2 by Gauntlet Comics. I don't know the exact history. It goes into it a little bit in the back. But check out this gorgeous cover by Angel Medina. Angel Medina, if you do not know him, you should know him. He is definitely one of the greatest, probably one of the most underrated comic book artists. He's done some really gorgeous stuff. Like, I feel like Kiss and, Vanguard. And I feel like I associate him with Spider-Man, although I don't know if a lot of that's his own fan work. But like I said, he's just an amazing artist and really great. And this is some gorgeous black and white art here. This is, like an indie book. It's like the Image Comics is sort of existing, and that's sort of why, like, Rob Liefeld and Erik Larsen were tied to Gary Carlson and Big Bang, but, Gary Carlson is, an independent publisher, and he kept getting artists hired away from him by Marvel and DC, which is a good thing for them, and just shows, like, Gary's ability to pick out talent with a lot of potential, obviously. I mean, two of the biggest name in comic books, right? Got some of their early work with Gary, so that's very cool. So here we go, Berzerker, Mechanized Death. Some of these are reprints. Let's see. Division published by Gauntlet Comics, a division of Caliber, so that's kind of interesting. So, like I said, Big Bang jumped around. So on this, we have Gary Carlson's story. On the first lead-in story, pencils, pages 1 through 10, Angel Medina. Inks by Aubrey Bradford. Beautiful inks, by the way. Pages 11 through 19 are drawn by Steve Adams, and the editor is Ed G. George, with letters by Chris Ecker and Grass Green. Publisher, Gary Reed. Covered by Angel Medina and Bill Anderson. Colored by Marcus David. Alrighty then. Let's get into this. I love it for so many reasons. Like, right is straight out the gate. First of all, I love that it's in black and white. I love that there's a lot of zipatone and duo shade being used. The screens. Like, I feel like the artist definitely knew that this was going to be in black and white and gave it a lot. It feels kind of like those great, like, old Flash Gordon comic strips with all the detail and stuff like that. What do you call it? Berzerker is so cool. I mean, of course, how can you not think of Keanu Reeves' Berzerker? Which is funny because this character, to me, seems like way cooler and way more iconic, and I don't know how he never blew up. He's just, like, so cool for so many reasons. In the Big Bang universe, a lot of analogs exist, sort of doppelgangers or, avatars for established, like, famous, characters, because Big Bang is a lot, in a way, of a love letter to the comic books that Gary Carlson wrote and grew up on. Arguably, if you were going to do a comparison, I guess I would say that this Berzerker here is sort of an amalgam of OMAC. He even refers to himself as a one-man army, or is referred to as a one-man army more than once throughout here. And also Deathlock in a way, because he's like a cyborg. Cool design, love the mohawk. Interesting, Gary talks about the evolution of this character, and he didn't have like the mohawk at first, and Gary sort of added it himself as like just sort of a design flourish, and so iconic. And the art here looks so good. I mean, look at this, like, what a great combination of the pencils and inks here. I mean, this is just gorgeous stuff. You know, I'm getting a little Neil Adams vibes in some of the line work of the faces and the figures of the sketchiness. And I mean, my God, like, this is just so beautiful. And sadly, I don't know if this went on past issue 2. I only have the first 2 issues. And like I said, this is the first time I've owned it. I mean, he is Berzerker. Gary talks about creating him, and he started out as Terminator, and then this Terminator movie came out and was actually kind of similar to this concept. I low-key think they possibly ripped him off, but, you know, it happens all the time. But then there is the other problem is if you have an idea, if you don't do it immediately, someone will definitely come up and take it from you. And I have an example of that in my life when I just saw a preview for a movie that I came up with that I had zero desire to follow through with writing a script, and that movie is Math Gator. Yes. Okay. I love a good silhouette. If you watch my channel, you know that. This is beautiful. Like I said, the storytelling on this is very unique. I so appreciate it so much. I love the numbers going across the top and the bottom of the page. It sort of adds like a certain atmosphere to the story. And the storytelling is just amazing. It's so crazy because these are really, really good comic books. You know what I mean? It's like, I think that, you know, when I talk to people about Big Bangs, I feel like they're somewhat familiar, or they're sort of familiar, or I've never heard of them at all. But then if you look into them and just like the deep history, I mean, this came out in 1993, so they've been around for 30 years. He continues to publish, and mostly like Indie Planet, sort of print on demand, but the characters are alive and well, and it's just a fun bunch of comics, and I'm like loving discovering all this. Like, this was a revelation to me, the beauty of this comic book. Are we past the Angel Medina story? Yeah, we are. I mean, this is just so good. And then the art is just really just beautiful in this too. So much detail, just really great. And I have to say, the Steve Adams, I feel like, how do I not know his name? How is he not one of the ones who went off to greatness? But then, you know, some artists go off to become storyboard artists or animators if they're smart, because that's where the real money is, or advertising or something like that. But I mean, this is pretty top-notch caliber, in my opinion here. I'm really enjoying this art. I mean, I think it's pretty on point. This is a fairly, you know, a professional operation happening here, right alongside. I mean, these books could easily, you know, I feel like perhaps, and I don't know, because the 80s there was this black and white comic explosion, but that didn't really translate to like, you know, newsstand, like Marvel, aside from their like, you know, magazine size books or whatever. But that was the 70s, like with the Hulk and Werewolf and stuff. But, you know, weren't doing black and white to sort of, I don't know, compete with the, you know, the black and white boom, indie boom of the 80s. So this is cool. This is a Gary Carlson. I love seeing the art of people who are primarily known as artists, or I mean as writers, because I think a lot of, if you want to create comics, chances are you wanted to draw them initially, whether you become a letterer, colorist, writer, or something that is not a penciler. I don't know. There's just some draw to it. You know what I mean? It's like being the lead singer in a band or something. I feel like I'm rambling, but I am. And come to find out, I think this logo was designed by Erik Larsen, which it was cool enough to begin with, but that makes it even cooler. But like I said, this is like an initial drawing. of Berzerker by a young, like, high school aged Gary Carlson. So how cool is that? This is from, I don't know, either a college or a high school project where he had to do a 2-page comic book strip. I mean, dream assignment for someone, a student like Gary Carlson, right? And apparently every panel's a swipe, which I found very interesting. So, yeah. I mean, you guys, I feel like this book is fairly affordable. I got a good deal on eBay, and I can't believe I missed it the first time around in 1993. Like, is this when my interest in comics is starting to wane for a few years? Okay, here we go. So, just lots of great back info on Berzerker and the evolution of the character, the costume, and whatnot. And then this gorgeous Erik Larsen planned to pencil a series during our Megaton days of Berzerker, and obviously, how great would that have been? I mean, this is like Erik Larsen in 1984. This is freaking, holy crap, you guys, it's like 39 years ago. That's insane. And it's just so cool. It has like the Larsen punch and pack. And this is interesting because Liefeld, 86, like, how old is he? 12? I mean, I don't know. Like, so young. Some of his very early work. He went on to get work at DC and couldn't continue on with Berzerker. Berzerker would have been amazing. Like, you know, that great art we saw by Angel Medina and Brad Anderson. No, whatever his name was. I'm sorry. Sam Adams. No, everyone's Sam. Steve Adams. I love this. It is so cool. I love me some early Rob Liefeld art. I have the Hawk and Dove miniseries coming up on my channel, so stay tuned for that. All the more reason to turn on those notifications, people. And another gorgeous pinup by Liefeld. Like, that is so cool. Like, you see, like I said, like, the artists that Gary Carlson is working with and picking for these projects and giving a chance to, really, or just smart enough to hire, went on to greatness, and like the potential and the power is so there. Like, I love this a lot. I think that looks really cool. And then we get this fun bonus Night Watchman classic backup tale. And Night Watchman is sort of the Batman analog, and I guess this is the Golden Age or Earth B version. I'm still figuring out the map work a little bit, but it's an interesting universe. They do have their sort of Earth 1 and Earth 2 with this Earth A and B, which has, you know, like the Golden Age and the Silver Age version, which I love that. I mean, how cool. Like, why not, right? Just go for it. And how fun is this art? Did we say who it was? You know, I like to give my credit by Tom King. Beautiful. Just very fun. I kind of like the mix of the, you know, classic art and the modern looking, edgy, sort of almost image-esque, you know, like Angel Medina, although not as much. I'm wondering, I think it's going to be looking a little different in the second issue, and I want to equate that to the anchor, but very solid art on this issue all throughout. I am so impressed, and this is beyond iconic, and I love seeing it in black and white here because the cover is color that we're gonna look at in a second. But Angel Medina, man, I love the way he draw, like his cross hatching is like so next level, and just like the way he shades and underlights and just like these little flourishes that just keep going and going for days, but never look like cluttered or too much. I cannot say enough good things about Angel Medina's art. So good. Joe Sin. What's that? Doesn't ring any bells. Feel free to comment, guys, if you have read Joe Sin and know what the hell that's about. Here we go. Berzerker, number 2. Look at this dope AF cover. It is so cool. I love it so much. Like, Angel Medina needs, I don't know. What am I missing that Angel Medina did that, he must have some bigger body of work, right? Okay, so we do not get any Angel Medina aside from the cover, which is fine because it means that he was hired by somebody, and Berzerker logo by Erik Larsen. Steve Adams. Steve Adams is cool. He's the one that I was praising before. Mike Matthew inks and Steve Adams inks, page 1 through 5. Great use of zip here. You know, it's funny, I'm getting some slight BWS, Barry Windsor Smith's vibes, but loving these characters. Bison, Just fun. I mean, come on. The arsenal known as Coxel. I'm not saying he looks like Cable. He looks exactly like Cable. The glowing eyes, the big vacuum cleaner gun, the tons of bullets, the goggles, the eye patch. I mean, did Cable have an eye patch or just a glowing eye? Or both? I mean that's a lot, right? But sadly, oh, there we go, the pouches on the leg. Yeah, that's Cable. Okay. Interesting, right? And then he kills this poor bull. I don't know. I also noticed that there's kind of a switch in his personality. He was very serious in the first issue, and now he's doing like the superhero wisecracking, almost Spider-Man-esque, right down to saying "Olay" as he punches the bull here. But it does kind of make him fun. It's giving me like sort of Gladiator Hulk vibes a little bit, and I'm totally down for that. Which, if you think about this, World War Hulk was years after this, so I'm not saying they stole it, but what do you think? Seems kind of, I don't know. Great zip there. Beautiful art. This art is just fun. And the story is so great, too. Like, I don't know. I'm just totally down for this character. He definitely is like, he should be as popular as Keanu Reeves' Berzerker by any stretch. Clearly. Yes, I really enjoy this Steve Adams art. And I will definitely have to be investigating to see where he went after this and why I don't know his name, because I love his art. It feels like this very classic, like superhero-y, almost in the same wheelhouse of like a slight John Byrne vibes, perhaps. Wham! Everybody freeze. So good. Fun lettering on this too, I'll say. Did I say who the letterer was? Letters. Tim Stiles. Fun, like this. This is the kind of panel that I just love. Like I said, like when it's going to be in black and white, you can just kind of go nuts with these kind of textures and effects, and it just is something that I really enjoy. This looks so 80s right there. And this is 93, but that's like a sort of future version. And also, I would like to point out that I often say that any artist worth their salt includes Kirby dots in their work. So here we have some Kirby dots. And I would like to take it a slight step forward in saying that it's even more ingenious when you have your own variation of Kirby dots. And I feel like that's that right there. It's a nice touch. And there's a lot of great, like, detail. This whole page, there's so much storytelling going on. Like, you get the whole epic scope of basically his origin here. And it is so cool. I also love this, too, because this looks like Cerebro mixed with, like, Weapon X at the same time. But the visual is just so cool. What else? Yeah, that's Cerebro for sure. Somebody should there's a way to sort of do a Saw torture thing with Cerebro, right? Like Cerebro's must have turned on the X-Men. Oh yeah, totally. Duh, that was the whole Joss Whedon thing. Oh well, sorry for having this flashback in the middle of this episode, but it gave you a chance to look at these two gorgeous pages. Okay. Yes, I love that. And I love this too because I love when the cover matches one of the panels in the book, even if it's not exact. Like, it still could be the scene from the book. That's sort of like a trope of comic books and one of the fun joys of comic books and something that lets you know it's a comic book. So I always appreciate something like that. You know what a geek I am, guys. Oh my god, beautiful last page. See this character, I thought, it's like I really love John Byrne's OMAC and like Mike Sack draws the most bitch in Deathlock, but I feel like those were a little more like sort of my brother's types of characters, but I feel like now at this stage in my life, like I love them so much. I think that is so cool. And the look on her face is so good. I love everything about this page. This book is so good, you guys. I mean, I honestly think, I wish this could somehow be collected, or I need more. I need more. Ultiman back up. I'm so in love with Ultiman now too. And Dirk Lively, like what a beautiful page this is. Gorgeous art. And I love that this is black and white on newsprint too. I mean, it looks amazing. And then we have the Superman analog and his origin here, which I found it was a very interesting choice to make him born of Earth. Because, like, that's, like, one of the biggest, you know, things about Superman. So it's sort of, like, a very interesting sort of way to set it up. And, like, okay, so you have Superman, but what if he was born here? What if he wasn't the last, you know, survivor of a planet, blah, blah, blah? What if he didn't have all that kind of baggage and bullshit, and he had all kinds of other different baggage and bullshit? So yeah, like, I'm totally down for that. And great design too, and beautiful art. Oh my god, yes. Is this I think it is, yes, Butch Weiss, who of course would go on to not this, James Ziegler and John Schuler. Great team here. Anyway, this is by Butch Weiss, who, you know, Micronauts, Flash, Swords of the Swashbucklers. I know that's obscure, but I actually did cover that. I mean, I love his art, and like, just looking at this, I guess this is before he's going to the big leagues, but I feel like he had already been. I mean, if this is 1993, but this could be an older story. But once again, you just see why, like, these artists would just be, like, you know, so revered and so sought after, and just, like, such great artists. Love it. Love the Ultiman. And low-key, okay, so Superman has always been one of my favorite characters when I fell in love with the Christopher Reeve movies. So I've always had a reverence and love for Superman. So if you give me a blonde Superman, I always love the blonde character, because I know that's so Mary Sue because I'm blonde, but whatever. That's the way it is. And I love these characters. There are so many great characters in this Big Bang universe. I urge you, and so many, like, so much great art, like hidden gems. Like, if you ever see these, or actually go to bigbangcomics.com. Gary Carlson sells a bunch of old back issues on his site. I'll put a link in the description. Like, cheap AF, like $3 each, like a treasure trove. And who wouldn't rather have the original hard copy from the man who made him? I mean, and support the guy, right? Next issue, Berzerker meets Meltdown. That art is gorgeous, and next on my list, I have to find that. If the Michael Troy effect exists, then these books are going to be hard to find, and do it. Big Bang Comics. Comics haven't been this fun in 50 years. Watch for it. Big things coming from Big Bang Comics. I mean, what a great comic. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Seek these out. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Share my content. Hit that notification. Walk your dog. And be a good person. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.